back up. Guy, you trying to fight. I'm telling you, you'll get popped.
Hey, look.
These future military police soldiers are participating in a riot control drill, a vital skill many hope they'll never have to use.
We don't have riots all the time. It doesn't happen often. However, when it does call for them to experience a riot or have to deal with it, they're able to answer to it and do the things that they need to do. I like that one. I'd rather them stressed out here than be stressed out at the correctional facility. And it's the small things that can turn into the big things. He get hit, this shield can cut your hand, or break your hand, or pinch your hand, and you're out of the fight. You're focused now on that hand, and then you're gonna get vulnerable, the shield's gonna go down, and then they're gonna shake your ass in the neck. You got me?
They're in the middle of their 10-week training program to become military police soldiers, or MPs.
What are some misconceptions people have about what you do?
So the biggest one is we're cage kickers, right?
Glorified security guards.
I mean, I always heard the MP for the party killers.
Your snitch and stuff.
Well, everybody knows the job of the MP, the military policeman, to make life miserable for the rest of the Army.
Misconceptions aside, MPs operate in 3 different areas: policing, detention, and security and mobility.
We're protectors. We protect the people on post.
They enforce the law on Army posts and in military prisons around the globe.
We deal with the worst of the worst criminals that were in uniformed services.
In 2022, the Army reported an average of 661 daily prisoners in its facilities, former soldiers who have committed crimes under military jurisdiction. Business Insider spent 4 days at Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri's Ozark region, where about 1,300 future military police soldiers are training to protect Army posts in the U.S. and around the world. There are 5 military occupational specialties, or MOSs, for enlisted soldiers within the Military Police Corps. Commissioned military police officers are 31 alphas and lead the different MP MOSs. During our time at Fort Leonard Wood, we observed the training of 31 Bravos and 31 Echoes. In 2024, the base salary for an entry-level MP started at about $2,000 a month. Before becoming soldiers and starting their MP Advanced Individual Training, trainees participate in a night infiltration event known as Nick at Night.
We are coming in, we're sneaking up on the enemy because of course we're crawling, right? Kind of like the D-Day kind of thing, storming the beach.
Trainees can only crawl through the course and toward the finish line under the cover of complete darkness. Occasionally, parachute flares fly into the sky and illuminate the course. During this time, trainees freeze and remain still until darkness returns. But unlike other training scenarios, machine guns fire live rounds over their heads.
A lot of them are 18 years old, so them experiencing live rounds going over their head and having to experience this could be very nerve-wracking for somebody that's never experienced it before. And then it's our job to make sure that they push through that fear, make sure they conquer that hill and be able to keep pushing forward, and that fear shouldn't stop them from reaching their goal.
After completing basic combat training and becoming soldiers in the U.S. Army, students begin their job-specific education, including 5 weeks of law enforcement instruction and scenario-based training, like riot control, which is done inside a mock prison in Fort Leonard Wood.
So get your 3, get your 3, get your 3.
Students are preparing to learn a technique they can deploy during a prison riot.
Next, we're gonna have a snatch and grab team. So you guys are gonna stack up on each other like a 5-member team.
Basically, it's a formation of a line conducting riot shields, and then there will be people behind them supporting that line, and then they have a snatch and grab team, which is a 5-member team.
You guys will come up to that line. Come up. You will tap the shield wall. The shield wall will open up. The snatch and grab team will go out. No more than 3 people. As soon as that third person crosses that line, they grab that inmate, they pull him through the line, and then the shield wall closes.
Within that snatch and grab team, their roles and duties are basically they are there to go and secure inmates from that line that are trying to obstruct our line wall or objects.
After learning the technique, it's time to put it into action.
Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back!
The riot shield serves as their main point of protection. If held incorrectly, they risk harm to themselves and the entire line.
They have one arm through the shield. We have holders inside, and they have their hands pretty much flat, trying to brace the shield. And they try to be in a staggered in their stance and pretty much making themselves very tight to the line and being able to maneuver. So we're trying to test the strength of the line. Whenever we're kicking and snatching and whatnot. Also the technique of how the correctional specialists are holding the riot shield. We teach them a way of how to brace and make sure that they're not shield checking the inmates because they're not supposed to. So that's the main reason why we're running up to the line. We're trying to push through the line, kick the line, because we need to test out the intensity of that line.
The first few attempts at the snatch and grab are unsuccessful.
It's really intense, but like you're all there, you're giggling a little bit, and then I had one of my battle buddies, he was beside me. He's like 4'11", so he's really short, and he got grabbed over his riot shield, and me and the girl beside me were like staring at each other, we're like, oh my God, what just happened? But you have to be able to think on your feet.
Students are not only attempting to remove inmates from the riot, but also trying to clear large items that may be used against them.
So the riot control training is more or less a training that we use for the worst case scenarios, right? We haven't had a riot within our facility since 2010, but we would rather train up on these scenarios so we are ready for when that scenario may or may not happen.
The riot he's referring to happened at the U.S. Disciplinary Barracks in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas in August 2010. 2 prisoners overtook a guard, stole his keys, and released 11 other inmates into the unit. They flooded it and made weapons from brooms and table legs. The riot ended when a special reaction team entered and subdued the rioters. There are 6 U.S. Army correctional facilities around the globe. There are 3 foreign facilities in South Korea, Kuwait, and Germany, and 2 domestic medium-level facilities at Joint Base Lewis McChord and Fort Leavenworth, which also contains the U.S. Disciplinary Barracks, the sole maximum security military prison.
Tell me how it went.
Grab team did pretty good getting the objects out of the way, especially in one instance where one of the instructors stole one of the shields and we took it back from them.
So you would rather train and know the knowledge and have that knowledge in your back pocket for when those scenarios do happen, right? You would want to know that your people are ready to fight that battle whenever it does come up.
It's really empowering to be able to stand beside people that I've grown to know as my brothers and sisters, and know that I can hold my own and not get knocked over by someone that I'm absolutely, utterly terrified of.
You're gonna segregate your detainee, okay? And there's 3 basic categories that the Army segregates. Raise your hand, please, if you have an idea of how you can segregate a group of people.
Gender.
So gender, he's correct, right?
Religion.
So when it comes to religion, she is correct, but it's called affiliation, okay? What's the third way?
Rank.
Okay, so very close, okay, but you're going to separate your enlisted from your officers, all right?
MP students learn how to properly handle detainees in a class called Detainee Operations.
We've provided a restraint system to you. It's called the Blue Box and Belly Chain Restraint System. So we're gonna apply this Blue Box and Belly Chain Restraint System within the confines of the Geneva Conventions of 1949, okay? So pretty much when we apply this system, we have to do it properly without harming, okay, our detainees. So that means we have to be engaging our double locks on our handcuffs and our leg restraints so that these do not continue to tighten up on our detainees' wrists and ankles. All right?
The Geneva Conventions are a key piece of the curriculum.
There are some basics within that treaty, providing the 3 meals a day, ensuring you provide the medical treatment to the detainees, ensuring you're not doing anything that would fall under torture or abuse.
An important reminder after the crimes committed at Abu Ghraib prison during the war in Iraq.
Who was responsible for the abuse within Abu Ghraib prison? American soldiers acting on their own accord, described by some within the Pentagon as recycled hillbillies, or did it go to the very top of the military and civilian leadership?
During the Iraq War, 11 U.S. soldiers were charged with crimes committed against detainees at Abu Ghraib. 7 of those soldiers were military police who were convicted of crimes like dereliction of duty, maltreating detainees, and assault.
The lessons that we learned out of Abu Ghraib reminded us that we cannot turn a blind eye, that the spoils of war are not real when you start talking about humanity, whether they're enemy combatants or whether they are our own citizens. We use scenario-based training to present really hard problems to our military police soldiers in training so they can have practice making those good decisions and they can apply, as an example, their learning about the Geneva Conventions to real life if they need to go and execute that on America's behalf.
Left, right, bottom cargo pocket. You're gonna put your belly chain. They're learning how to escort a detainee to a different destination. So that could be a medical appointment, maybe another correctional facility, going through court proceedings. So they're going to apply what's known as a blue box and belly chain restraint system. They put that on, ensuring they do the double locks, and then we go through how to actively escort that detainee to the new location that they need to be at.
Students pat down the detainees, checking for any weapons or contraband.
What are some of the issues they run into doing this for the first time?
So the first time, it just depends on the comfortability they have with handcuffing. I would say that's one of the biggest things because it's sometimes one of the first times they're coming into close contact with somebody who is role-playing as a detainee. So we try to practice several times before they apply that system because that is one of the most dangerous parts is applying the handcuffs.
What's dangerous about it?
Just because at the time prior to applying that individual is unhandcuffed, you don't know the prior training or experience of your detainee, so you always want to ensure for the safety of the guard that you're applying it correctly. You're showing and displaying that you're confident in your abilities.
Handcuffs are a little confusing sometimes. Hold on, it's not closing all the way.
While some students struggle using handcuffs for the first time, other students are more familiar with the restraints.
Does it feel weird to be getting cuffed?
My family's in corrections.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. It's a weird feeling. What if I told you it wasn't my first? No, I'm playing.
Does it feel weird getting cuffed?
No, I've had it happen before. Wait a second.
When you joined the Army, is this the image that you had of yourself in full restraints that you want to send to your mom?
Honestly, yeah, I would say so, probably. I signed up for 31 Bravo, something like that.
I asked him, can you show me how to do it? And he showed me.
Step forward. Yeah. See if you can walk.
My cousin, he was an MP.
My father, he was an MP before me.
My grandfather was a sheriff, actually, in LA County. long time ago. My mom, she's a corrections officer actually, or she was. Now she's a counselor for juvenile delinquents. So it's kind of like a lot of people in my family did, things of this nature. So I thought it would be, when I joined the Army, it would be a good choice.
We have a number of soldiers who go on to have local law enforcement, state law enforcement, federal law enforcement careers. This legacy of what we often refer to as a family business. But their long game is to be a law enforcement professional. Many of our soldiers go on to serve their communities. Many of our soldiers go on to serve at the federal level in a variety of different agencies and have good, long careers. And most look back and remember their time in training as a military police soldier as being the foundation of what made them a professional in the civilian law enforcement world.
After several rounds of practice searching the detainees and applying cuffs, students are evaluated by their instructor.
So some of the critical things that we're looking for is, for one, that they engage the double locks on those handcuffs and the leg restraints. That's to ensure that those systems do not close up or tighten on the detainee, because again, following the Geneva Conventions, we want to ensure that we're not hurting the individual during transport, and then ensuring the keyholes are facing down. That way, for some reason, if that detainee is able to slip that handcuff in that blue box, that they then just additional time for them to try to undo their leg restraints. So we had no no-goes, and I think that's just the additional practice time, allowing them to get comfortable, asking them if they need any additional time, have any questions. So everyone was a go today.
Unit ready. Stand by.
Military police soldiers trained to fire the M17 Sig Sauer 9mm handgun.
You cannot be lazy today. Hold that weapon high and tight.
So today we're just going over firing familiarization. It's just trying to get repetition for the trainees to get used to the handgun. Majority of them have never shot before or used a handgun or any type of weapon before.
Have you guys shot a 9mm before?
I'm probably law enforcement.
I've shot a 9mm before.
Oh yeah? So will this be easy then?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. The only thing that's not easy, like for law enforcement, we never shot so far. Normally every interaction we're up close and personal.
Firing weapons from farther away isn't the only difference between military police soldiers and civilian law enforcement.
We cannot do certain things that civilian cops can do. I say one of the biggest ones is the escalation of force, how you could put your hands on somebody so very quickly. You kind of have to analyze and see the initial threat first before even trying to, attempt to take the escalation level a bit.
Why is that? Why can you not do that here as a military officer?
Well, UCMJ mostly.
The UCMJ, or the Uniform Code of Military Justice, is the set of laws that members of the U.S. military must abide by and enforce. A different legal framework than the laws that civilians follow at the state, local, and federal level.
We feel safe to kind of approach just anybody, but the difference is in the civilian world, you have to approach with caution. You can't just approach somebody, you don't know if they have something on, on their person, such as any kind of weapon. But on the installation, those kind of weapons are illegal unless it's registered on the installation.
Students learn the different positions used when firing the weapon.
Yeah, so we have 4 positions. So 4, you're gonna break double retention out of your holster, placing the weapon on fire. And then on position 2, you're gonna go to the close and ready, which is like your right hand should be closest to the right side of your rib. In position 3, you're gonna come and collapse your left hand with your right hand, right just forward of your chest. And then position 4, you're gonna push out completely, going into the actual ready stance and ready posture.
The soldiers also learn how to shoot from different distances.
So we have blocks staged at 5 meters, 2 meters, as well as 7, 10, and then farther out to 25 meters. We understand majority of the time that you're pulling out your M17, you're probably closer than a threat to a threat. It's just trying to help them with their accuracy, getting that sight picture, taking their time, and then easy trigger squeeze, because at the 25 meter, it's a lot easier to pull your shots than you would be if you're closest to the target.
With many students firing a handgun for the very first time, some struggle with anticipating the recoil.
When you fire, what you're doing is you're flexing and you're forcing the weapon to do this, whether you realize it or not. When you only use that trigger finger, again, just the trigger finger, the weapon's gonna go up, reacquire the sights, come back down. The only part of my body moving is that trigger finger, then the weapon fires straight. If it's okay if it goes up and down, that's recoil. Turn around, face the tower.
If the trainee grips too hard on the right hand, usually they end up jerking the trigger to the right side. It's all about reaction time. So getting the trainees to go ahead and do repetition over and over and over helps their reaction time when it comes to actual road work. So if an incident did happen and they have to pull their M17 out of the holster and engage at a threat, is if their reaction time is a lot faster than it would be if they didn't have repetition.
Once trainees are familiar with the 9mm, instructors introduce a new challenge, firing it in complete darkness.
Tonight, it's the limited visibility familiarization, and they'll conduct it under the limited visibility hours, utilizing flashlights, different techniques that they're taught to hold the flashlights engaged. Flashlight comes on, engagement, conduct their post-engagement, flashlight comes off, they holster, and then we continue, we move on from there. You don't want to turn on the light, give away your element of surprise. Sometimes law enforcement, that's what we use as our benefit, you know, when we're entering into a building or anything like that. Let's just say a shooter in a building, power is out. Last thing you want to do is turn the lights on. If they're hiding somewhere or a basement of a building or a house, that element of surprise is absolutely imperative for the law enforcement officer. You got to remember, as law enforcement, we only draw our weapons when the threat is presented to us. That means we're already at that disadvantage.
Clear.
Clear. All right, so there's multiple techniques you're going to use. The first technique, we call it the Harris technique, and that is flashlight oriented towards your target, flashlight hand underneath firing hand, backs of the hands together, punch out. From here, you can acquire your sights and engage the target. The second technique we teach is what we call the neck index. The neck index, your elbow kind of stays tucked in as much as you can, flashlight pointed towards your target, one-handed with your firing hand, your dominant firing hand, you punch out towards your target as if you're ready to conduct an engagement, straight up and down, slight cant to help absorb that recoil or conduct recoil management. Conduct your engagement, and again, completed, you scan your target left and right or your sector, return back to position 3, and then you, flashlight comes off, and you holster and ready for another engagement.
MPs must be experts at operating different types of tactical vehicles.
So say you're all the way this way, and you see you want them to straighten their tires out, go like this. Everyone go like this.
Before the drive, they learn the proper hand signals used to direct the M1151A1 Humvee.
Getting behind the wheel with the tactical vehicles, it is a little bit different. When it comes to steering and maneuvering the vehicle, you need a ground guide when it comes to that. So we'll have someone outside of the car directing us and when to turn and back up.
Now back them up. Back them up. Walk with them so you can see.
So we learn how to actually drive the vehicle, and then we go on a convoy and do all that practical exercise and stuff like that, really getting hands-on with all the vehicles.
Students load up in the Humvees and practice driving in a convoy.
All right, you ready? Yes. We're going to take that part, we're going to put it in drive.
How is it different from driving a regular car out?
For the most part, it's honestly kind of similar. This practice comes into play when we're out in the field in real life, knowing the basics, knowing how to trust yourself, and knowing that everyone else that may be in your squad you'll be able to trust them when it comes to like if anything were to break down, you know how to fix it, stuff like that.
Law enforcement has been scrutinized over numerous civilian deaths at the hands of police officers.
There is a lot of controversy today surrounding just police officers in general, law enforcement, anything like that.
Although there are many differences between military and civilian police, we asked the 14th Military Police Brigade how this has affected their curriculum for future MPs.
14th Military Police Brigade adheres to the Peace Officer Standardization and Training. And from the post curriculum, a lot of different recent, perhaps lessons learned from how our civilian counterparts have handled certain situations are tied to that training. We incorporate all of the various different aspects of racial and gender differences to understand how to treat people as people and to try to remove our subconscious bias, if you will, to see people more as people and less as something we might have been taught to see them as. And so for about 5 weeks, our law enforcement professionals in training go through a bunch of scenarios that are tied directly to the Peace Officer Standardization and Training, much of which includes those lessons learned from challenges our nation has faced in the recent past and the distant past.
A big thing that I am really wanting to advance towards is getting rid of those stereotypes that all police officers are bad or whatever. I want to be able to make that change and be able to change people's perception of the MOS and just in civilian world as well. I think that would be really, really good.
All over the world, the United States Army is on the alert to defend our country. The Military Police Corps has a big part in this defense.
Military law enforcement officers have served since the Revolutionary War, but the Military Police Corps that exists today wasn't formally established until 1941.
It was the MP who guarded the security of United Nations personnel and documents.
Since its founding, the Military Police Corps has protected bases and provided security in every major conflict. The U.S. Army found the MP skill set aligned well with small-scale counterinsurgency missions in Iraq and Afghanistan. But as the military transitions to potential large-scale combat operations in the Indo-Pacific and Eastern Europe, the Army is also training MPs to be warfighters. In February 2024, the Army announced plans to restructure its force, moving 3,000 MPs and cavalry scouts to new roles.
So the Military Police Corps, since September of 1941, has grown and reduced and grown and reduced based on the need that the United States has seen for law enforcement professionals versus our need to support warfighters wherever we're asked to go.
The Army said this restructuring was the result of lagging recruitment numbers and a shift in focus from counterinsurgency and counterterrorism operations to large-scale combat operations that could be used against more advanced military powers.
Right now, we happen to be in one of those time periods in which we've gotten a little bit smaller. And those at the Department of the Army level have had to make some really tough decisions on overall manpower requirements for the Army. So, of course, the Military Police Corps has reduced. There's absolutely no misconception about that.
But with fewer MPs, could that make Army posts around the globe less safe?
The Military Police Corps is going through a reduction right now. What it doesn't equate to is the fact that our installations, our camps, posts, and stations are secure, our families are safe, our communities are just as safe as they were 5, 10, 15 years ago.
Copy, Tango, out.
A lot of people believe they're just law enforcement, police types, but we are also dedicated warfighters. We are here to fight and win our nation's wars.
In addition to the law enforcement and correctional training these future MPs receive, they participate in intense Army training. As part of their training to become warfighters, future MPs participate in a field training exercise. In the first phase, trainees set up 360-degree perimeters.
And also, you conduct a thing called SEALs. All right, stop, look, listen, smell.
The platoon is split into 3 teams: Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie.
They say, Charlie team on your feet. Charlie team on your feet. Get in the plane facing that direction.
Once a team is set and observing the perimeter, the next team is called to run out in front of them.
Who am I signaling?
To ensure they're headed in the right direction, Alpha Team's leader practices using his compass.
All right, make sure you keep it level so it's not canted to one side and get stuck, all right?
Yes, sir.
12 degrees until you see the next LDA.
Yes, sir.
It's on you.
The 2 enemy soldiers are subdued, but then
What
happened?
drill sergeants yell "real world," which means an actual emergency is occurring, and this training scenario is put on hold. The Alpha Team leader, Private Johnson, was bitten by a black widow spider and quickly alerted the drill sergeants.
Here, sir. He took a picture of it.
All right, index. Get up, get up, get up. Come on.
Are you good?
The drill sergeants rushed Johnson to get medical attention and had everyone check each other for spiders, including our producer.
All right. Afternoon, drill sergeant.
I mean, the best I could. I think I'm good.
Yeah, he just got bit by a black widow.
The following day, we checked in with Drill Sergeant Diaz, and he told us that the spider bite did not break all the way through Johnson's skin, and that he was able to return to training the next day.
Get back! Get back! Get back!
Somebody has to put the law and order around a military base. I mean, if there were no MPs, then it'd be crazy.
Man, I really want to step out of my comfort zone. This sounds like something I could definitely go and pursue. And so I just kind of took that leap.
I think it's just been the biggest thing training with MPs is everything's by the book, down to business, and like most of all like integrity. It's one of our Army values, but here I think is like it's the strongest thing they're trying to enforce with us, because if the people who are supposed to be delivering justice aren't doing it, who's doing it?
You gotta back up. Guy, you trying to fight. You gotta back up. You trying to fight. I'm telling you, you're gonna get popped. You're gonna get popped.